you're gonna start asking me questions.
I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah, and then I'm
Yes,
just gonna...
you're already on now. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, it's Ashley here back. Okay, Ashley, back with our captain Jana. She's gonna explain a little bit about herself first. So Jana, can you tell everybody your name, where you're from? Also, Jana speaks Dutch, so she's gonna be doing it in Dutch for all you Dutch speakers. Go ahead, Jana.
Hey, dus ik ben Jana en ik speel al 9 jaar hier in Wijs en Woluwe. Ik ben kapitein van de ploeg. Verder heb ik criminologie gestudeerd in Leuven en sociaal werk bij gedaan en woon ik nu ook in het Leuvense.
I can't translate that for you, but somebody will. Okay, Jana, so basically, one of the girls is going to be breaking a Guinness World Record for taking the most penalties in 24 hours. And the record is something like 2,075. So that's what she's aiming for. So one of the main questions was the mentality of taking penalties. Do you take penalties on the team?
Ik prefereer van niet eigenlijk, gewoon omdat ik dat zelf heel moeilijk vind. Dat is echt een hele grote druk op de schouders. En als je niet goed voelt in de wedstrijd, zou ik zeggen niet doen. Maar als je wel goed voelt, tuurlijk, dan is dat echt puur concentratie. En eigenlijk is dat niet moeilijk, hè. Dat is 1 tegen 1, grote goal. Maar ik zelf heb niet genoeg vertrouwen om het te doen. Maar stel dat er niemand van mijn ploeg het doet, ja, dan is het mijn taak om dat wel te doen. En zal ik dat zeker doen. Maar zelf prefereer ik het om het niet te doen.
Good. Great. Also, so this year has been an interesting year with 2020 and COVID and Corona. How do you feel that has impacted how we're playing this year and how the season is going?
Al wel vind ik dat dat meevalt. Al hebben wij wel het vorig seizoen natuurlijk op een heel abrupte manier moeten stoppen. En is het begin van het seizoen ook moeilijk geweest en hebben we veel individueel moeten doen. Maar ik heb wel het gevoel dat we als ploeg dat wel gedaan hebben. Waardoor we wel heel snel hebben kunnen heroppakken waar we geëindigd zijn. En nu denk ik dat we in het seizoen 1 week eigenlijk niet hebben kunnen trainen. Omdat de maatregelen alleen nog wel moesten afwachten. Maar al bij al kunnen wij onze training blijven vatten. En 3 keer trainen in de week. We moeten maatregelen nemen natuurlijk. Maar eigenlijk valt dat wel heel goed mee. En ben ik heel blij dat we kunnen blijven voetballen.
Great. One last question. So, Equal Playing Field is an organization that highlights inequalities in women in sports. So, can you just tell maybe a little bit about your experience growing up in Belgium? Because I think in Belgium you have to play with boys until you're a certain age. And how do you feel that that's improving, or do you feel that it's has more work to do, or how do you feel that that's progressing in society?
Ik denk dat in het begin heel moeilijk is om de stap te zetten naar het voetbal. Ik heb eigenlijk de geluk gehad dat mijn broer en mijn papa in het voetbal zaten. Dus voor mij was de stap makkelijker gezet. Maar ik denk als je als meisje eigenlijk niemand echt rechtstreeks in de voetbalwereld hebt, dat je happer de stap naar een vrouwenploeg gaat zetten. Maar mijn mening persoonlijk is om de jonge meisjes zo lang mogelijk bij de jongens te houden. Omdat het gaat daar veel sneller, het is veel harder ook en je leert daar veel meer uit. Ik heb tot mijn 13 jaar bij de jongens gespeeld en ik had dat misschien eigenlijk nog wel langer mogen doen of kunnen doen. En ik denk dat dat ook mijn tip is naar alle jonge meisjes toe. En blijf zo lang mogelijk bij de jongens. Als je daar plezier hebt, als je dat kunt, blijf doen, want dat gaat enkel in je voordeel spelen later. Maar ik denk dat de maatschappij daar wel naar gevormd is en meer jongens het ook toelaten. Want ik was vaak het enigste meisje in mijn reeks, ook in mijn ploeg. Ik kwam eigenlijk niet zoveel meisjes tegen. En nu is dat veel vaker en komt je elkaar veel meer tegen. Dus dat is zeker wel positief. En ik denk ook wel dat de maatschappij zich daar naar aan het vormen is.
Great. So, yes. Oh. Thank you, Jana. Can you just say thank you to Deena, or good luck, because she's going to be doing 2,075 penalties. Her name is Deena.
I'm gonna do like this for you.
Cross your fingers. Thank you, Jana.
Bye.
Oh. Okay, it's Ashley here again with Audrey. She's the T1 of White Star, Femina White Star. You heard from our captain Jana already. So we're going to have a translator. So Jana did it in Dutch and Audrey is going to do it in French. That's what Belgium's all about, the multiple language. So Audrey, the first question is, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. what your name is, where you played, your history of football. Translation, Mag, go.
Antoine, dis où tu as joué, ta biographie du football.
Yes, donc je m'appelle Audrey de Mossier, j'ai joué au Standard de Liège, j'ai aussi joué à Woluwe et j'ai joué aussi pour l'équipe nationale belge, donc pour les Red Flames, et maintenant je suis coach du Femina Westar Woluwe.
Perfect. Woohoo! Woohoo! Okay, next question is how has 2020 in Corona, COVID, impacted the team, the club, and how you coach or present with the team?
Compris.
Okay.
C'était un peu, je veux dire, difficile pour l'équipe avec toutes ces mesures au niveau du coronavirus, de devoir suivre en tout cas tout ça. Et voilà, je pense que c'était plus mentalement que les joueuses ont été un peu impactées. Mais pour le reste, je veux dire, c'est sur le terrain, on continue à jouer au football, donc c'est ça le plus important pour nous. Donc voilà, mais c'est sûr que mentalement, c'est pas évident. D'être confronté à cette crise qu'on peut vivre au quotidien. Et puis c'est surtout au niveau des contacts c'est très, très compliqué, mais je pense que l'équipe arrive à surmonter ça parce qu'il y a le football qui prime, et sur le terrain c'est le plus important pour nous, et on peut continuer à jouer sur le terrain, donc ça c'est le plus important.
Good. Thank you, Audrey. Next question, Meg, is so the Guinness World Record, one of our equal playing field members, she's going to break the Guinness World Record for taking the most penalties in 24 hours. So the Guinness World Record was 2,075 penalties in 24 hours. So
le record du monde de prendre le penalty en 24 heures est à 2075. Et là, il y a une fille de Equal Playing Field, son organisation, qui participe et qui est en train d'essayer de battre ce record. Elle a déjà battu d'ailleurs.
And so the question everybody is asking is, what is the mentality it takes to take a penalty? And did you ever take penalties when you were playing with the teams?
Quelle mentalité tu as besoin pour prendre un penalty? Quelle mentalité ça demande? Est-ce que tu prenais des penalties en tant que joueuse?
Alors moi je prenais les pénaltys quand je jouais, et je pense qu'il faut avoir cette confiance et cette concentration quand tu prends le ballon, avec une certitude, c'est de vouloir le mettre au fond, et si à un moment donné tu rates un penalty, c'est de reprendre le ballon et de recommencer, parce que c'est vraiment la confiance en soi qui est primordiale quand tu tires un penalty. Donc concentration et confiance.
Concentration and confidence. You got that.
Yes.
The last question, Audrey, is a big one because it's important for girls. So you are the only T1 female in the Belgian Super League, right? You understand?
C'est la seule coach féminine en Super League.
Which is good. So equal playing field. We highlight the inequality in women in sports. Right? So,
donc l'école playing field, c'est justement pour que les femmes soient traitées comme les hommes dans le sport.
So I would like you to talk about like the girls' football academy and things you're doing with Brussels football in order to create a more equal playing field.
Est-ce que tu peux parler un peu de l'académie? Est-ce que tu fais avec le Brussels football pour égaliser le football féminin au football masculin?
Yes. Donc l'objectif un peu des Girls Football Academy sur Bruxelles est de en tout cas permettre à des jeunes petites filles de 5 ans, 6 ans, 7 ans de découvrir le football, et en tout cas de savoir qu'à cet âge-là on peut jouer au foot avec des filles. Et donc on va en tout cas multiplier nos centres sur Bruxelles pour en tout cas permettre à plus de petites filles de découvrir le football et savoir qu'elles peuvent s'amuser, se faire des copines entre elles et partager ensemble la même passion, notre passion du football. Et je dis souvent que c'est important que les petites filles, on leur donne l'envie d'aimer le football, et donc ça c'est pour moi le plus important, et c'est un de mes plus grands objectifs, c'est en tout cas permettre à plus de petites filles de jouer au football.
Perfect. Thank you, Audrey. Do you want to say good luck to Deena, or in French as well, because she's taking her penalties for 24 hours, if you want to say good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah? Thank you. Bye. Hello, everybody. It's Ashley Hall from Equal Playing Field organization. Just wanted to come on and wish my good little legendary egg, Deena, a good luck for her Guinness World Record attempt. I don't know if you've heard, I'm sure you have, but she's going to be trying to beat the world record for the most penalties taken in 24 hours. So we're wishing her luck. I've been asked to come on and just mention a little bit about 2020, what it's meant for me and my team. I'm playing football here in Belgium. I'm also working at a school, an international school, as the head of inclusion for children with special needs. So I love it. But 2020 has been a bit of a confusing time for everybody. And I was just asked to come on and talk about it and discuss how it's impacted my team, and how it's impacted Belgium, and so on. Before we get to that, though, so I don't know if you know, but Deena is one of my legendary eggs. So we have a little group that's called the Eggs, and she's one of our main eggs, basically. And the reason why we call her and we call ourselves the Eggs is because Deena has called everybody an egg for as long as I can remember. The first time I met Deena, I think, was probably in 2016, maybe 2015, something like that. She was living in Bahrain and I was living in Abu Dhabi, and my team from Abu Dhabi had decided to go to Bahrain for a tournament. So we went on a footy trip. It wasn't that far, but it was still fun. So we played against her team and her academy. And her academy, Techers Academy, was hosting a five-a-side tournament. So we came and we played. So we met Deena then. So it was really fun. She was really ecstatic and very enthusiastic and fun to get to know. As most of you know, if you know Deena, you know that she's a legendary egg. So I met her there. She was lovely, fun, and we just became friends. After that, the first time I really got to know Deena was on the mountain when we went to Kilimanjaro for our Equal Playing Field Guinness World Record. Deena was actually in my tribe. So we had maybe 12 people in a group, because they had to separate the groups in order to hike up the mountain in different stages, because if you do everybody at once with all the porters and all the players, there wasn't enough space to walk up the mountain, and we had to stage it so that we could get there, set up, eat, all that fun stuff. So Deena was actually the head of the leader of our group. We were called the Pumbas, Ingiri, Pumbas for life. So Deena we became even closer actually during that trip, because, you know, you're climbing up Kilimanjaro and you're required to just talk to people. We didn't have cell phone service. We camped. We were with each other 7 days, 8 days without showering. Yeah, you can imagine. You have to be really close to be able to get through that. Eating dinner together with everybody, your group, those 12 people, the core 12, like most of the day. So the whole day, 24 hours. It was a fun time, but you get to know everybody really well, which gave me the opportunity to get to know Deena even better. And I fell in love with her, of course, as everybody does. But she was always just there. Hey, you egg, come on, you egg. Hey, egg, let's go. Egg, you egghead, you egg. So, of course, we became the legendary Eggs. Shout out to my eggs, by the way. You'll probably see some more of them on the EPF feed. So I just wanted to share some of our experiences from Kili together. So because we all had different tribes, different groups that we went hiking up the mountain with, we were the Pumbas, Ingiri. Of course, they had other ones. I don't know all of their names, but there was definitely like giraffes, lions, different animal names, right? And different, I think there was an ostriches. I don't know. All you EPF people will shout at me when you see this, but it's fine. So because me, Kirsty, my other good friend who was climbing up the mountain with me, and Deena, we were all part of the same group, and we were kind of fun and trying to mess with people. And so what happened apparently was, on the mountain, the porters were carrying our food up the mountain. So, I mean, literally we would have lasagna and random delicious meals on the top of Kilimanjaro, like with no ovens or anything. So everybody was amazed at the actual food quality on the mountain. So, we found out, because we've been eating like oatmeal for breakfast every morning. And we had found out that all the other groups had been getting eggs for breakfast. And we were like, what is going on? What did you have for breakfast this morning? What? We had oatmeal again. What? You had eggs? What? And this was happening every morning. I'm not kidding. So what Deena and Kirsty and I decided to do was we were going to go and either steal some eggs, number one, or we were going to try to get some eggs by bribing or by ransom. So Deena, Kirsty, and I had decided to go. And so before I get to the story, as I'm already doing, each tribe, each group, each community, whatever you want to call it, where people were sleeping in the tents, we each had a flag with the animal and a color on it. Because whenever you come to the camp, after you've been hiking all day, maybe some people come into the campsite later because they've been walking slower or whatever the case may be. You come into camp and you have all these tents everywhere. And I'm going to have to show you guys some pictures to talk about that. But you have all these tents everywhere. And when you come into camp, there's like tents, and you have a pole with all the flags of your tents, right? So you have your flag so that you know where your tent is and where your group is. So what we had decided to do, Deena, Kirsty, and I, Deena was the main culprit, actually. There's a video of her somewhere with the ransom notes for this activity. But so she had decided that we should go and steal all the flags from the other team, from the other groups. And we would do like a ransom video. And we basically had covered up our faces so nobody could see anything. And all we said was, if you do not give us eggs for breakfast, we're not giving back your flags. Something like that. Deena's voice was hilarious. I wish I have to try to find the video and post it somewhere, but it was hilarious. And we sent it around to all the groups. And they were like, who is this? Who is this? But the funniest thing is, of course, I had to know who it was because Deena's voice was just Deena's voice, right? So wait, I'm just video on my photo on my computer. So when you come to a camp, and this was a really nice camp actually. It was right above the clouds. But when you come to camp, there's all these tents, and all of them look the same. So you actually have no idea like where on earth you're supposed to go, or who's, or where to find anybody. So we basically had gone and decided to just steal all the flags, and we had put them out ransom on the ground and said, if you don't give us eggs, you won't get your flags back. And Deena, it was just the best. It was so funny. And everybody was like, what on earth? What is happening? But nobody else had realized that we weren't getting eggs for breakfast. So it was like, what? Why weren't you getting eggs? And we actually found out that one of the porters had dropped our eggs on the hike, so we didn't have any eggs for breakfast. So we felt okay. We're like, oh, that's not very nice of us to be so mean, but we had fun and it was good. We'd been on the mountain with these people for 5 days with no showers, and I think that's mean enough to people. So that's my story about Deena Egg, and I wish her luck, and if she doesn't do well, she gets no eggs for breakfast. Anyway, so I'm here also to discuss what I'm doing, who I am, how I became part of Equal Playing Field, what 2020 has done in terms of mentality, and how it's impacting us and how it's impacting me as a football player, as a teacher, as a person, as a human. I think everybody has their own difficulties in dealing with it and what it means to people. For me, it's Belgium was starting lockdown on the 13th of March. And I remember because it was a Friday, the 13th of March. And it was our last day of school. Actually, they called it on the 13th of March saying that they were going to have a lockdown and that everybody had to stay home. And I was thinking, 13th of March, Friday. Ooh, okay, whatever. So basically, we couldn't go into school. Everybody's locked down. All the shops were closed. Only grocery stores and pharmacies, the essential shops, were open. And people were kind of panicking because Belgium, even now, is one of the worst hit countries in Europe in terms of the inhabitants. So there's more a ratio of people having COVID in terms of how many people are living here. So it's not easy. I also think that some people have more anxiety about it than others. For me, I wasn't very anxious about it. I think I was more worried about not being able to see my family because I'm quite far away from my family here. They're all in North Carolina, Georgia, Kentucky, so in the US, and I can't get to them, which is a little bit frustrating for me, but I'm not the only person going through this. Luckily, I have a really good family here, friends and football fans and work friends, so it was a little bit easier. The Belgian weather was also really nice during the lockdown for once, so actually it was okay. In terms of football, so our last season, it's just stopped because they canceled the championships, and they weren't even going to be willing to try to continue it because of all of the issues. I mean, they canceled sports everywhere, so why would they, of course, stop? Why would they keep a women's league going? Because they also stopped the men's too. So it was, I think it was just a bit of a shock for everybody in the world, as you guys all know. But Belgium now, it's mandatory to wear masks. We started opening up again around July, the 1st of July. We were allowed to go back to school in May, but we had to go only half days and on and off. So the kids had to switch classes. I think the most difficult part as well was for my students who I work with who have special needs, because it's a very difficult time for them, number one, but also wearing masks is not a possibility. The inconsistency of scheduling was difficult, but we got through it, and now we know what to expect, and now we know what we can do, what we're capable of in terms of video therapy sessions, things like that. So I think that's something that everybody has learned. I mean, when we first started our lockdown, we had kids who were doing speech therapy and occupational therapy twice a week at school, but obviously that can't happen, right? Because we can come into school and see people. So we had to get used to the idea of actually doing these things via online. And back then, I mean, in March, it didn't seem normal for people to do, therapy sessions through video, because it's something that needs to be more intimate and more personal. But okay, we started doing it, and now it's part of the norm. So after the summer happened, everybody went back to school in September, normal, full days. No bubbles. Of course, all the teachers still had to wear masks. If the kids were older than 12, they also had to wear masks. But we've had a second wave in Belgium just a few weeks ago. That the numbers were really, really high, even worse than the first. So we had to go to a code orange, and which is a different policies that different schools have to help with the regulations of different COVID structures. So we had to go to code orange, which means that the kids have to be in their separate bubbles. So each kid has to be in the classroom all the time, in their own classroom. They eat in the classroom. They can do nothing together with any other classes. So that's code orange. And for the secondary, they come twice. They come 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. So it's impacting Belgium quite a lot. And again, so everything opened back up in July, but now everything's closed again. The restaurants are closed, bars are closed, and that also, of course, unfortunately, we started football we started really early this year because we had been out from February, and normally our seasons run until April or May. So we actually started training a little bit in May, and then we started full-time the end of June, July. And actually now we had to stop training for a bit, but now we're allowed to train the Super League and the Super League the Belgian Women's Super League, which is the highest level, and the Men's Pro League. So the highest men and the highest women are still allowed to play, but we do have to get COVID tested once a week, which is not fun, but it is beneficial to be able to have that as well, because they actually stopped testing people in Belgium because they didn't have enough tests. So they stopped testing people who were not symptomatic, and they stopped testing people who were in close contact with somebody else. So if you had symptoms, you could be tested, and basically if you needed a test for something, you could be tested. So we obviously been doing a test once a week. The nice thing is that the Belgian Football Federation has actually been paying for, or doing our tests, because my team and another team in the Pro League. There's only 10 teams in the Women's Super League. They don't have the funds to pay because it's really expensive to pay for these tests once a week. And my team White Star, FC Femino White Star, and another team called Alost, they don't have a men's team, so they don't have enough money to be paying for a weekly testing. So actually the Belgian Football Federation really generously has offered to do those tests once a week so that the women's league can keep playing, because otherwise they'd have to stop because the two teams wouldn't be able to play. So they would have stopped the league. So actually it's been really good from the Belgian Football Federation in order to make sure that the equality between the two women's and men's leagues are equal, which I think is really good. So that's enough about me ranting about Belgium and football. I was sitting here talking to myself for 16 minutes. I will be interviewing a few other people tonight, but I would like to, we have training tonight, so I'm going to grab a few people before training. I would like to just mention also Deena taking 2,000 plus penalties in 24 hours is like crazy. I can't even take one penalty. So me, I've played all over the world. I played in university in the States. After that, I moved to Iceland to play. I played in England for Watford's ladies team. I played in Thailand, Abu Dhabi, and now I play in Belgium for FC Femino White Star. I am a striker. I have multiple awards for golden boots, scoring the most goals. I'm one of the top state scorers in the state of Kentucky, blah, 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 blah. But one thing I've never been able to do is take penalties. I don't know what it is. In my mind, it's just, I can't do it. I create a lot of penalties because I'm really fast. So I'll run into the box and get fouled or get fouled by the goalkeeper. I've earned multiple penalties under my, almost as many. I've earned a lot of penalties in my career. But have I ever taken one? No. Maybe when I was younger, but when it's more of this level, I don't take penalties. So Deena, good on you, you legendary egg. I give you props because for me, it's a no-go. So mentality of taking penalties is something that I struggle with. But to be honest, I struggle with the mentality of a lot of goal scoring opportunities in terms of a one-to-one. Like, I don't know. I feel like if there's no pressure to score, that it doesn't happen. Or I feel like going one-to-one, there's just, it's too much time that I have and I think too much. And if you ask anybody that knows me as a football player, they're going to say, oh yeah, Ashley, one-to-ones, she struggles. She struggles on the breakaways, but she does score goals and she creates opportunities and she creates penalty chances and blah, 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 blah. So penalty creator, I can do. Penalty taker, no. So the mentality of taking penalties is something that you have to have a lot of strong mental game or you just don't think about it as much. You just do it. And I think Deena is both of those things. She's a great, fun person. She's easygoing. And she doesn't feel too pressured, which I think is beneficial for her. But she also, she is also super strong woman. She's really strong. So I think it's important that we keep her going and we keep supporting her. Because even though she's strong, she needs that mental support. So Deena, good luck. This egg loves you and you can do it. Stay strong, stay awake. And when you think about missing or you think about going to sleep, you remember you get no eggs for breakfast, okay? That's a bribe. That's a threat. Next up, I'll be interviewing some different people from my team and discussing with them how it's impacted theirs. 2020 has impacted them personally and how they feel when they take penalties. So stay tuned. Good luck, Deena.